Greetings everyone, SoulFangDance98 back at it again with another reaction, looking at all female Kamen Riders ranked weakest to strongest, with the Knight of the Spear re-upload helping out. So let's check it out and see how this goes, because I myself do enjoy these kinds of ranking videos, especially when it comes to the female Kamen Riders. Because, look, I mean, my channel got a pretty good look from, from all you guys helping out with views, subscribers after my all-female Super Sentai members, henshin, so let's check out what they do here.
If there's anything I love more than women, it's Kamen Rider. That's right, folks. Today I'm going to be covering all 26 female Kamen Riders in order from weakest to strongest. All the rules remain the same as my previous two videos. Borrowed forms and weapons are allowed, but no outside help, which means forms like Igarashi and Nadeshiko fusion states are off the table. I will not be looking at any non-canon characters from mediums like the manga or stage shows. Also, this might be a controversial decision, but I will also be excluding any riders that are just female versions of already established male characters. That way I won't have to retread too many of the same arguments. However, I will be including Tackle and Nico, even though they aren't technically Kamen Riders, they're basically still Kamen Riders in spirit. Yeats is far from over, so I won't be including Nago or any other female riders that might get introduced. And finally, this video contains spoilers.
Obviously.
So with that out of the way, let's begin.
Yeah, of course, spoilers.
Akira was an easy pick for last place. Her only fight scene lasts about 5 seconds before she's knocked unconscious in one hit. To give her credit though, she isn't completely helpless. The Kodama is just an irregularly strong opponent, and she'd definitely fare better against the other bottom tiers. But even keeping this in mind, her overall lack of experience coupled with poor stamina means she doesn't possess great odds of winning any fights.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Another easy bottom tier pick, Tackle specializes in two techniques. The Electro Toss, which is really only useful against mooks, and the Ultra Cyclone, which kills her. In all fairness, the Ultra Cyclone is strong enough to kill Dr. Kate, who can block Stronger's 60-ton punches, so this one move alone is potentially enough to bump her up several spots. But it's still a kamikaze attack. She's neglected using it before in the past, against foes that she would have no other way of defeating, and only made the exception to save Stronger's life. This list features everyone in character, and isn't necessarily a fight to the death, so it's very unlikely that she would decide to use this move at all in most scenarios, when she could just take the L instead.
Oy. Jeez.
Crossbow gives her a ranged advantage against the other riders, but besides that, she really doesn't have much else going for her.
Yeah.
The Blade Riders are already not very strong by Kamen Rider standards, and the Ace Riders are even weaker. In fact, Lark seems to struggle the most out of all three of them, which makes sense. The only thing we know about her is that she used to be an office employee, so she most likely has no combat training prior to becoming a rider.
True. Oy.
Speaking, Ana shouldn't be that much weaker than Ryotaro as a child, which would unfortunately make her half as strong as the original. Momotaros could potentially win by possessing his opponent, which he can do to superhumanly powerful characters such as Wataru and Tsukasa, but he's never really tried this type of strategy in the past, and even a total pushover like Ryotaro can eventually force him out with enough willpower. Also, this might be kind of obvious, but Ana is the least intelligent character on here. Momotaros does seem to have several years worth of fighting experience. It's hard to say exactly how many since he time travels everywhere, but despite this, he's still pretty stupid. His judgment mostly ranges from unreliable to hilariously incompetent.
Okay. Kamen.
Mua is one of the only characters on this list that can actually be hurt by normal bullets, something that even fodder monsters from other seasons are immune to. It's no surprise given that Abaddons are super weak foot soldiers, but Mua's clearly far more dominant than the rest. She's able to dodge bullets from Valkyrie, not to mention her physical stats are way higher than they have any right to be. But she's still an Abaddon. Even assuming Mua's 10 times stronger or more skilled than the others, Mua can easily take out 10 of these guys on his own without even needing to transform. And normal Ames troopers are able to hold their own against them no problem. But despite her weakness, it turns out Mua is also kind of immortal. Since her avatar isn't her real body, that means she can potentially respawn as many times as she wants. And since a lot of the characters on this list don't have the tools they would need to find her on their own, that could boost her all the way up to the number 1 spot instantly, assuming she was able to tire them out enough. But even if she does revive, that would mean that she died in the first place, which by the rules I've already established counts as a loss. Jam debatedly doesn't belong on this list at all, since it's just Kogane possessing some random girl he found, but I figured, why not include him? Despite his high stats, Jam kinda sucks. While the original Mars could contend with Kiwami Arms, Jam almost lost to base form Ryugen, with his only other victory being against a single Kurokage trooper. It's possible Jam could win by the same means that he bested Ryugen, holding the girl he possessed hostage. But it turns out a lot of the women on this list are either flat out evil or morally dubious, so they probably wouldn't care that much about harming a civilian, even if they could understand she was being possessed in the first place. And those who would are too strong to lose to Jam anyway. Based on Baron's use of Ringo arms, Idun has proven to be stronger than your average armored rider, though she's not quite as strong as an energy rider. Assuming Idun could trap her opponents inside Helheim, that would be an instant win condition, but she's never really shown using her portals in this fashion, preferring to use it as a mix-up or as a way to escape combat instead. Plus, it would just be a temporary victory since her opponent could still hypothetically escape through one of Yggdrasil's bases. Also, the longer a battle is drawn out, the more likely Idun is to lose thanks to her Lockseed's painful, crippling side effects. It's pretty clear that Sylphie doesn't scale to Kajidoki arms, but she should at least be as strong as King Durian. Overall, King Durian is pretty similar to Ringo arms. Both have fought Takatora while he was armed with weapons that he described as being difficult to use. However, while Idun ultimately lost to Watermelon Arms, it's plausible to believe King Durian could have actually beaten Takatora Gridon if their fight had gone on uninterrupted. And Sylphie is most likely stronger than King Durian, since this form is implied to be her creation, and a stray hit from one of her vines was enough to stagger him for several seconds. Completing the quadrinity of Gaim Riders is Marika. Prior to becoming Ryoma's bodyguard, Yoko was a special ops agent for an unknown organization. She can match Oren Pierre in hand-to-hand combat. A man who spent 5 years in the French military can beat up 4 other dudes on his own and apparently won the World Cup. While Energy Riders have matched Demushu, this doesn't automatically make her city level, since he's proven to become increasingly more powerful over time. But she should still be able to match him in his weakest form, which when compared to Baron has stats 7 times stronger on average. Also, Marika doesn't lose to Eden. She only landed 1 hit before fleeing, and it was a sneak attack.
Cheers.
While I did say OG Akira was an easy pick for bottoms here, AR Akira is a completely different case. She's Ibuki's best student, putting her on the same level as Todoroki. And while she doesn't have any official stats, she's a completely competent Oni, unlike her original self. So her attack power probably isn't that much lower than someone like Todoroki's.
これは伊吹のアキラ誤解っす自分は片思いなだけっす禁断のアイス
Shuki is the most skilled combatant on here when it comes to years of experience. Thanks to her super healing, she's way older than she looks. Akira might be Todoroki's equal, but even in that universe, Zanki is still his mentor, and Shuki was once Zanki's mentor. At melee range, her katana skills are enough to contend with Hibiki. Her own Gekibo Kitara can create veils of sound that block incoming projectiles. And it can fire an arrow so powerful, at point blank, it can one-shot even the superhumanly durable Oni. Like herself. Assuming Yua joined AIMS immediately after turning 21, that would give her nearly 4 years of active experience prior to the start of the season, and her technical expertise along with how quickly she managed to climb her ranks are surely evidence of her high intelligence. Lightning Hornet is twice as strong as her base form. Justice Serval and Fighting Jackal are likely even stronger, but it's not really possible to say by how much exactly. The serval tiger Magia gets demolished by Horobi even in a 2v1, and the same can be said for Jackal's fights against Rampage Vulcan. So overall, Valkyrie really shouldn't be that much stronger than the other riders at this point, but she could potentially be much faster thanks to her being able to react to objects launched by Satellite Zeia at 280 times the speed of sound. Quite fitting for someone with the powers of a cheetah.
逆だったらどうする？私撃てる？
もちろんぶっ潰す。
Kamen Rider Mage.
Some of the absolute worst stats on this list, which might give you the impression she's complete fodder, but in reality she is far more powerful than you might think. Remember how I brought up how Abaddon is hurt by normal bullets? Well, the weakest monster from Wizard, ghouls, are almost entirely immune to them. And Mage can wipe out a whole crowd of these things no problem. Mage also has the Wizard Sword Gun, which fires homing bullets, so good luck dodging one of those. And she's one of the only characters on this list that could track down Mua's actual location using her White Garda. The exact amount of time Mayu has spent learning magic is a bit unclear. It's probably not even a month, but don't underestimate her just because of this. Fellow Mage Rider Masahiro had his powers for less than a day, and he was still able to beat Wizard's Dragon style. Wizard has successfully fought the same foes as Forze while only in his base form, meaning he can dish out attacks in excess of 2.5 kilotons. Even if we assume Valkyrie was as strong as Thouser, which she likely isn't, Mage would still be stronger, and if you think Valkyrie could just speed blitz her, scaling to Forze would also mean she scales to O's and Double, who are fast enough to dodge lightning attacks, which also travel at Mach 280. Not to mention, Wizard has some attacks that are just straight up actual lightning. Given the way Nadeshiko is portrayed and her general lack of solid feats, she might not appear very impressive to the casual viewer. But looking at her character in context paints an entirely different picture. She's considered an invaluable resource to Lam Kanagi, who even in his human form can already one-shot base form Forze. Rocket states a form utilizing only a fraction of Nadeshiko's power is strong enough to beat Skyrider, and the same switch was also able to propel the 3,700-ton Go Buster O to 260 times the speed of light. I'm not going to be attributing this feat solely to Nadeshiko, since the Go Busters and Forze were probably responsible for a lot of this energy, but if I did, that would instantly bump her up all the way to number 7.
I will stop here because this is a double one and we're about halfway through. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. We're going to take a little music break for the next video, then we'll go back to this to finish it off. But yeah, I'm quite enjoying this list, especially with the way that their abilities are properly looked at and compared to other riders within the series to understand exactly how powerful they are and how their skills are. And it's not just like, oh, they can punch this hard. No, they have these magic abilities. This one can literally go faster than the speed of light. This one can literally break through a dimension or to shoot someone. You know, he's looking at all their abilities. And I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of this. But for now, upcoming music break. So look forward to that one. You guys take care. I'll see you in the next video. Please like, comment, subscribe down below. We can bring more Toku content for you guys. Bye!